off the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back. Today is Saturday, June 13th, 2026. I hope everybody's had a wonderful start to the weekend. I do appreciate you spending a few minutes here over at eSIM Studios. We get an interesting topic. Not going to be too long of a show. I say that last time, and the stream was damn near an hour long, but I got stuff to do here. I got a Spurs game to watch and some other stuff, so it'll be quick, but just have basically one topic that I want to talk about. It's messed up, and I think everybody needs to be aware of this. This flew right over my head. The news of this came out in March. We're in June, so this is months ago. I don't know how I did not see this. It's a big deal, so I want to make sure everybody is aware of what's going on with you in technology, because this affects everybody. Also, if you're watching this, please type something in the chat. I don't care. Say hi, hello, good afternoon, or just put a T, enter. I'm going to try real quick before we get started. If you want to give me just a minute, I'll still be here. I'm going to try and gift membership. So on the content creator side, we have channels that are monetized. We have memberships, a monthly membership, and for creators we can do private and or content just for members, meaning if you're a member you can only see this video or you can only see this live stream. If you're not a member, you cannot see it. So I'm going to try and build up my membership base, and I'm going to do private live streams. I'm going to do private videos, content, stuff like that, just for members only content. I'm going to start to build that up. It'll be fun. And I think what I'm going to do on my live streams for members only. So I'm going to encourage, you get discounts on merchandise, but you know, whatever. Not a lot of people buy merchandise, but it's all good. I think what I'm going to do on live streams is have you, if you're a member, join me. And you don't have to show your face. You don't have to be like this. YouTube's pretty cool because you can just, whatever your avatar is, you can just have your avatar up there and then you talk essentially behind it, where it's audio only. So you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. But on our members only live streams, you could join me, join us, join other members on the panel, and we can discuss whatever you want to discuss. Technology, what phone is better, this phone or that phone, what phone should you upgrade to, what is Google going to do with their Pixel, when are they going to have better processors, are they going to drop the 200 charging cycle limit, all that good stuff. If you have a question or just want to chat, that's what it's there for. So, and it'll be scheduled. I'm not just going to pop up and have live streams, because I understand it's probably not the smart thing to do. I need to get better at doing a live at a certain time every single day, put it on a schedule. So those will be scheduled. So you, if you want to join, can take off from work or take your lunch break or whatever, block that off if you want to join. So let me see, as a creator, I can gift memberships. I think from what I was looking into it, I think I can gift up to 10 memberships per month. So let me go in the back end of my YouTube studio and let me see if I can do that real quick, because there's not really, I know you can do it because I've been gifted a membership from a content creator numerous times on a few of the channels that I watch. I'm like, damn, it just hit me the other day. I'm like, I need to build up my memberships, but I was like, how do you give free memberships? And I did some searching online just before I went live, and there's not much online. So give me just a second and let me see how I can do this here. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see here. Man, there's so much. And here's the thing. I would have done this before the live stream, but the option, from what I understand, is not there unless you're live. So I would have done this before, but it's not available. And I might, look, if I'm taking too long, because I don't want this to take forever, I might just look into it a little more and do it on the next one. But I'm going to be gifting I'm going to be gifting memberships here so we can have our members only, and then it'll be free for the first month, and then on the second month that'll be up to you. But we have I think a relatively cheap entry level membership option at, I think it's just a couple dollars a month. Let's see, but I'll make it worth your while, and I'll do members only giveaways as well. So you're definitely going to be, you're definitely gonna like what I got in store. Let's see here. I wonder if I can search, but I did search. Gemini. We're about to talk about Gemini. How to gift. I already searched that. You know what? Screw it. I don't want to waste your time. I'll look into it a little more after I get off of here. Screw that. But look, join me on the next one. On the next live stream, and I should have everything together. I should have researched this a little more before going live, but I wonder if I can do it. You know what? Hang on. I wonder if I can do it in my YouTube app on my phone. So let me go to my live stream. Let me go to my... Damn. Okay. Let me see if I can gift. Come on now. Screw it. I'll do it later. Whatever. Let me get into this because I don't want this to be long. So before we get started, I do want to let you know we do have a sponsorship that I need to discuss. Leica Mobile, good service, cheap prices, just one out of many plans. For example, is the 18 gigs of high-speed 5G data per month, unlimited. Damn it. Leica Mobile, 18 gigs of high-speed 5G data per month, 10 gigabytes of hotspot 5G data, unlimited talk, unlimited text, over 100 countries around the world for only $7.50. $7.50. That is affordable. And I am EI certified, and I am eicertified.com. Now, they're a very, very special service. If you have a device or purchased a device that's been reported lost or stolen, they are the website that reverses that lost and stolen status, gets it back into clean and clear status so you can use your phone again. I am eicertified.com, link down below. Leica Mobile, a link down below in the description box. Now, what we're going to talk about, this went right over my head. Normally, I'm pretty good with keeping up with the news. I check tech news probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a day, right when I wake up, kind of a couple times throughout the day, and then at night as well. I did not see this, and my wife sent me this. Pretty freaking interesting, and she's pretty good on what's going on in the tech world as well. I don't know how we missed this. So let me show you, or let me tell you what I'm talking about. It's messed up. It's really, really messed up. I think it went right over our heads because they wanted it to go right over our heads. Now, what am I talking about? Well, Google Gemini. We all know Gemini Intelligence, AI. It's the big catchphrase here. And there's new information that says Gemini Intelligence. I'm talking about the Gemini that's on our phones or on your computer. But the Gemini Intelligence moving forward requires new flagship phones. 2026 and beyond flagship phones. So to run Google's Gemini Intelligence, users will need a device with advanced capabilities, quote unquote, including a flagship CPU, at least 12 gigabytes of RAM, and support for media features like HDR and spatial audio. Google also mandates a minimum of 5 years of OS updates and 6 years of quarterly, at least 6 years of quarterly security updates, with stricter quality enforcement starting in 2027, meaning older phones do not qualify. Gemini Intelligence functions as an AI agent capable of multi-step tasks, potentially requiring new hardware purchases to access these advanced features, reminiscent of past trends where new software demanded new devices. Now, before we get into, well, what devices qualify and what don't, let me tell you briefly what Google Gemini Intelligence is. Now, Google Unveils, this is what they're talking about when there's requirements to run this. So Google unveils advanced Gemini 3 Pro AI model with enhanced reasoning and multimodal capabilities. So they launched Gemini 3 Pro, its latest and most advanced AI model, boasting state-of-the-art reasoning capabilities that allow for deeper understanding of nuance and context to provide more relevant answers. Gemini 3 Pro, also known as Gemini Nano V3, excels in multimodal understanding, outperforming its predecessors on key AI benchmarks and being integrated across various Google platforms, including Search's AI mode and Gemini app, AI Studio, and Vertex AI. Further enhancements include Gemini 3 Deep Think for more complex problem solving, a redesigned Gemini app with improved chat initiation, and a quote-unquote My Stuff folder, and an overhauled shopping experience featuring product listings and comparison tables. Now, that is messed up. So, what upsets me is that I get a little sense, I get a feeling, I get a little whiff of them copying Apple. Now, Apple has a good update history of them updating their devices, but Apple has also been found liable. Apple has been found guilty in court of slowing down older phones, of doing things to older phones to essentially force the users of older phones to upgrade to newer phones. I'm kind of look, I hate to accuse Google of similar practices, but after hearing this, after reading this, I can't help but think that. Now, I know a lot of you, like myself, are like, whoop-de-freaking-do, what's the big deal? AI. I don't really use AI. I get that, but the general use of Gemini is what is the most used AI on phones. It just is. I use Gemini, not for everything I do, but for some stuff I use it. My daughter uses it. A lot of people use it. Not a whole lot, but you get the point. But for them to say to use our newest model, V3, version 3, and any model after that, version, I'm just throwing it out there, 3.5, version 4.0, version 4.5, you have to have a flagship device from 2026 moving forward. That's messed up. So they're essentially telling you an S25 Ultra, not good enough. They're essentially telling you a Google Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL, not good enough. The Pixel 9 series is not getting future Gemini features and models. The Pixel 9, I must remind people, has a stronger processor, a stronger GPU than the Pixel 10. So just if you think about it and you do a little research, just a few minutes, do real human deep thinking without AI. Just use your brain up here. This shit doesn't make sense. And that's why I'm like, earlier today, I was like, well, wait a second. Because there's other reports, and maybe I should have included the links. Maybe I'll do that when we're done. The Pixel 9 is not getting special AI features, and the Pixel 9 outperforms the Pixel 10. So does that make sense to anybody? They're essentially telling you you have to buy a new phone now if you want to use AI features now and or moving forward. So the base capabilities to running this include a flagship CPU, flagship, at least 12 gigs of RAM, and support for media features like HDR and spatial audio. Well, Google, how is that going to work out for you when the base Pixel 11 is going to have 8 gigabytes of RAM? Your Pixel 10a, excuse me, your upcoming Pixel 11a is going to have 8 gigs of RAM. So you're telling me that even a flagship phone you're going to offer here in just a few months is not going to be able to run Gemini version 3.0 or higher? What the hell is going on? Like, that is complete, excuse my French, that's complete bullshit. And I think they're screwing us over. The more I think about it, the more pissed off I'm getting. It just doesn't, I don't agree with this. And I completely think they're trying to get one over on us, meaning the users. I think an S25 Ultra, more than capable, way more than capable of performing any and all of these tasks that an S26 Ultra can perform. You cannot tell me that there's that much of a difference performance-wise between an S25 Ultra and an S26 Ultra. The OnePlus 13, not going to get these new features. Huh? Let's see what else would fall under. Let me share my screen so I can show you. No, I don't have it. Check this out. So here's just a little list on this top part. You might not be able to see it. It might be too small, but here's the prerequisites. Users will need a device with advanced capabilities, including flag. See, here's the other thing. They're not specific. This was in the fine print under the release of Google Gemini version 3. This was in the fine print, copied and pasted. So they can essentially pick and choose. It's not like it's like with when you can get the new T-Mobile 5G network, right? There's a list of processors and or modems you have to have or better to get and or receive T-Mobile's new 5G network. There's a list or better, right? Anything really flagship launched after that is capable of receiving T-Mobile's new 5G network. There was no list with this, which tells me they can essentially pick and choose. Oh, that's not a flagship. That's not a flagship chip, right? It's like, well, what do you mean? What if they hit us with it has to be a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 or better? What if they say the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 is not good enough? What if they say the CPU in the Motorola Signature is not good enough? Now, that's technically a flagship CPU, so that would qualify. I'm just throwing out there as an example, meaning they can essentially pick and choose what phones they want to qualify for Gemini Intelligence. Now, I'm trying to think of the least performing phone that I have, which is probably not a good list because all of my phones are flagship. But let's do this. Do you think a Nothing Phone 3 would be able to handle Gemini Intelligence? Do you think the new Nothing Phone 4a Pro would be able to handle Gemini Intelligence? Because that's not a flagship chip. I believe it has HDR display. What does HDR have to do with anything? What does spatial audio have to do with qualifying to get Gemini even though it might not affect your purchase power, meaning if there's a device you really want, let's just say, for example, the Nothing Phone 4a Pro did not qualify for Google Gemini Intelligence. Let's just say it did not qualify for this. Is that going to be a deal breaker for you? If you really want to get the Nothing Phone 4a Pro, you love the way it looks, you love the Nothing OS, you love everything, you want to jump in on the Nothing experience, are you not going to buy it just because it does not get Gemini Intelligence? Now, you can download the Gemini application on the phone. It's just not going to run the newest, latest models. It's going to be running whatever, Gemini Intelligence 2.0, or I guess it's 2.5, right? 2.5 and older. Is that a deal breaker for you? Because I don't think it is. That would not be a determining factor whether I purchase a phone or not. That will not be a determining factor because whatever, I just won't use Gemini Intelligence then. You know what you could do to bypass this, and I wonder if it would still require certain specifications. I wonder if you could pull up the Chrome application, let's say the Nothing Phone 4a Pro we're using, for example. Let's say it does not qualify for Gemini Intelligence 3.0 and higher. So what's stopping a user for not using or accessing Gemini Intelligence through the application? What's stopping them from going on the Chrome browser, putting it in desktop mode, going to Gemini in desktop mode on the Chrome app on the Nothing Phone 4a Pro, and then running Gemini as a web browser in desktop mode on your phone? Is that like I don't really understand what they're doing here. I get it, at some point 5 years from now, maybe the AI models will be too big for a phone from 2025, right? I mean, that's kind of logical, right? I mean, at some point, these models are going to get freaking enormous to where a 5 or 6 year old phone probably won't be able to run those big models on there, right? But we're talking about phones that just came out 8 months ago are not going to be able to run Google Intelligence version 3.0 and higher. Are you freaking kidding me? Like I don't know. I feel like they're trying to one up us. I feel like they're pressuring users, forcing users to upgrade their phones. I'm kind of getting an Apple vibe from this. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like to be told or forced you have to do something. And with these models, I think when I had the 4a Pro, I don't really remember using or testing Gemini in that phone. Again, I don't use it a lot, but every now and then I'll use it. I don't use it every day for everything I do. I just don't. And I think a lot of users are the same way. I think they play around with it or ask what's the difference between the Pixel 9a and the Pixel 8a, stuff like that, and it'll spit out facts. But to use it to run your life, to schedule your life, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I know there are people that do that, but I just don't think we're at that point at this moment. I just think for them to do this that soon or this way, I just think it's foul. And I think I kind of flew over the radar or under the radar from a lot of people. Because remember, this news came out like 3 months ago. I'm just now realizing and or hearing about this. Probably was like that for a reason. Because this right here just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. I get the RAM, right? I understand out of all those specs that they list, I get the RAM. I get it, right? These AI models, they do require a lot of RAM. And I'm at the point where I can certainly use a phone with 12 gigs, and I don't want to be hypocritical because my S26 Ultra has 12 gigs of RAM. But I'm starting to lean now to phones with 16 gigs of RAM. Just because apps are getting bigger. I continually have a ton of apps. I never close my recents. And stuff for like AI if I need it. But so I understand the RAM limitations, but flagship chip, why does it need HDR and spatial audio? Can somebody Am I missing something? Because I don't understand what's going. I don't understand. Um, well, looks like I'm headed that way. I've been on here for 30 minutes already, and I'm not ready to log off quite yet. So, Mog King. All right, what's going on? Hey, what's going on, Bradley? Happy birthday to you, sir. I saw that on Facebook today. So happy birthday. You did get my little birthday present, so I saw that. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Hey, not much. Just chilling. Just hanging out on a Saturday, getting ready for the Spurs game. You're so done with Pixel. Oh, hang on. I'm so done with Pixel. First the battery, charging cap crap. The removal of SIM tray, now this. I was just having this discussion with my wife. Yeah, I was gonna say, as you know, but some are probably new viewers. You might not know. My wife is a huge. I'm a huge Pixel fan. She's a bigger fan than I am. She's tried every other phone, just can't really. She loves her Pixels, and she feels the most comfortable. She knows Pixel better than anybody I know on Earth. She knows the phone inside and out. And it's a big deal for me to skip a Pixel this year, but I've had enough of Pixel. Now, I'm not saying I won't ever go back to Pixel. It's just where we're at right now. I'm just not doing it. Like I just feel like we're getting shorted, and the only, I'm going to take a stand, damn it. But yeah, I get it. Now, I came across this article, and if you do have a Pixel, did the latest Google Play services update, did that fix your battery drain bug? My wife on hers says she doesn't have the battery drain bug. Now she's over 200 charging cycles. The phone takes forever to charge. But she's been getting really, really good battery life on hers. But it takes freaking 2.5 hours to charge. Like, that's insane to me. I sent her this article, and I might post it here in the chat if I can figure out how to do that. It was, what is it on? Android. Actually, you know what? Let me pull it up and I'll show you. So there's this article I came across. My Pixel, the title was "My Pixel was charging at a crawl, but these settings finally fixed it for me." And I was like, wait a second. In this article, he never mentions the fact that about the 200 charging cycle thing. Nobody seems to be aware of this, but it's a real thing. But I went through his article, and he essentially changed one setting, and that was it. In fact, I don't even need to pull it up. Let me just tell you what he changed, because we're just wasting time here. He changed this in his settings. I think it was just an article to get clicks, to be quite honest with you, and I hate to call Android police out, but it looks not necessarily clickbait. But, and I'm sure if you're a Pixel user, you've probably changed and or looked at this setting. Let's see here. It was the disable charging optimization. I don't think it'd make that big of a difference, but that's what he said he changed, and it fixed his charging problems. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm done too. Yes, and that's what I'm pissed off about. Is that Google's gonna do the same thing. Google's gonna do this is gonna be a problem that's gonna be continually popping up. Every year or two, we're gonna see this again. Oh, our AI features are so advanced, our models are so big, it requires a new flagship CPU. Next time they're gonna hit us with 16 gigs of RAM. I guarantee you. And it's going to eliminate half the new phones out here, because here's the other thing: Ramageddon. The memory is getting mad expensive. I was going to review, I'll save this for tomorrow. I was going to review in a little article Carl Pei wrote on Twitter about RAM and their strategy and where they're headed. But Carl Pei, in his little article, said just the RAM alone is more than the CPU and the display combined, meaning the manufacturer cost. Just the memory costs more than the CPU and the display combined. That's how insane it is. But I think next time we hear this little requirements thing for Gemini, I think they're going to hit us with 16 gigs of RAM. those assholes. Now that's going to eliminate but see, here's the thing. It's costing way much more. So Samsung's going to be like, whoa, crap. We got to put 16 gigs of RAM in our S20, whatever, 8 Ultra or S27 Ultra. Well, that's going to raise the cost for us because it costs more. So it's like this double-edged sword where it's going to be bouncing back and forth every year or two. It's just going to raise the prices, and I cannot help but think they're like all in this together. Hey, why don't you say, Samsung's going to tell Google, hey, Google, why don't you put out a bogus requirement to run Gemini on these phones and say, we need at least 16 gigs of RAM so we can put our 16 gigs of RAM in there. We look good because we're increasing our specs, but then we can charge the consumer more for the phone. And then Google's like, yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. And then Google's like, yeah, that's a good idea. I can help everybody sell more phones. And then everybody's happy. I can't help but think that. Now, do I think that's happening? I don't know. Maybe. At this point, I certainly wouldn't doubt it, but I think the chances of them having those discussions of somewhere along the lines, I don't know. Look, if I ran a company as big as Samsung or as big as Google, it's your job to increase revenue. That's their entire job, is to increase revenue. Now, how do you do it? Your strategy? Is it ethical? Is it moral? The ethics and morals go out the door. As long as it's not illegal, it's in the strategy, or it's in the considerations for ways to increase revenue. That's their job, is to increase revenue. When you work for a publicly traded company, you gotta hit your numbers. And I cannot help but think they're having these discussions behind the scenes. I hate to think that way, but again, we're the ones that get screwed on this. It's very vague. The Agent 2 has better performance than the newer Tensor does. I know, it makes zero sense. The Snapdragon 888, or yeah, is it 8 Gen 2? Or even 8 Gen 1, just a couple years old, or 3 years old, is better than any Tensor performance. And the other thing that doesn't make sense is it says the Pixel 9, I'll have to see if I can pull it. It's going to take too long. I did read today the Pixel 9 will not be getting Google Gemini Nano version 3. Well, how is that? It has HDR, it has spatial audio. Does it? I think it does. It has 16 gigs of RAM, the Pixel 9 that's not getting it. And the CPU and the GPU are way stronger than the Pixel 10. Does that make sense to y'all? Because I can see a discrepancy right there. It makes zero sense, and that's why I think they're just pulling this out of their ass. This is why I don't think any one company, in this case Google, should own Android operating system. Valid point. I've noticed that Google is now giving you instant credit for your trade-ins like Samsung. Oh, I had no clue. Well, it's about time. Because I've ordered from Google every year for the last, 12 years, 13, 14, probably 15 years. Yeah, they've never had instant credit. That's why I used to always love ordering Samsung. They just take it off the total right off the top. Now, you got to ship your phone in, because if you don't, they'll hit you with a freaking $1,000 bill on your debit or credit card. But it makes it a lot easier just not having to pay that up front, because how Google would do it, you'd have to pay everything up front. Like if you buy a $1,500 phone, but you're trading in a $750 phone, you'd have to pay that $1,500 up front just to ship the phone to you. And then you ship your trade in, then they rebate you then they give you a $750 refund. Well, you got to have all that $1,500 up front. Samsung's the opposite, right? You buy a $1,500 phone, but you're getting $750 for your trade-in. Well, all you pay right now is $750. send us your phone. And then if you don't send it in, then they hit you with that 750. It's about time, because I've always wondered about that. I'm like, geez, Google has got more money. There's only a hand, I think 2 or 3 companies that have more money than Google. Samsung's way down on the list. Like, it's like Nvidia, Apple, and I think that's it. So I'm like, so why aren't they, well, I'm glad they're doing that. That's good news. Not that I'm going to be using it. Well, I take that back. I am, because I'm going to be getting her a new Pixel 11 Pro XL this year. But I'm glad to see them doing that. It's about time. Any difference between Pixel 9 Pro XL and the Pixel 10 Pro XL? Pixel 10 Pro XL switched to eSIM only, and you get worse performance on the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Looks the same. It does have a Exynos 5500 modem compared to the Exynos 5400 modem in the Pixel 9 series, so it does get better signal. Still doesn't get T-Mobile's new 5G network, but it does get better reception. There's some times where when I was out using my Pixel 10 Pro XL, Pixel 10 Pro, sometimes the Wi-Fi speeds on the Pixel are faster than the Samsung. But when you step outside of Wi-Fi, that's where it makes a difference. Although it is improved over the Pixel 9 series, you just can't beat a Snapdragon modem. They're flawless, almost. But other than that, eSIM, the CPU and the GPU took a step down, meaning they're not as good. Pixel 9 series blows away the Pixel 10 series in benchmarks. That's what I'm saying. There's the did they increase UFS storage? I think they did. They went up one version. They have the same Actua display, AMOLED display. Unless I'm missing something, the sensors are the same. It's pretty much the same thing, and that's how you know that they're picking and choosing. That's how you know there's not technically a hardware requirement for running this new Google Gemini Nano version 3. They're picking and choosing what phones can run this. And that's why, to me, when I was thinking about this today, it didn't make sense. Because the Pixel 9 series, the Pixel 9 Pro XL, more than capable. In fact, you can make an argument it would handle Gemini Intelligence Nano version 3 better than the Pixel 10 series. It just would. Better performance. If everything else is fairly similar, right? It just doesn't make sense. And that's why I think it's total bullshit what they're doing. And I kind of wanted to call them out today. And that's why we're having this discussion. But I wanted you to be aware. I'm not sure if you've heard this before, but again, this news came out 3 months ago. Just went right over my head. Appreciate you joining, Daniel. I got to get out of here. But before we do, let me do a giveaway. Put hashtag gift in the chat. Hashtag gift. And we'll do a giveaway real quick. And then I'm going to get out of here. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about... Tomorrow, I want to discuss Nothing because they have new earbuds coming out. They have new hardware. We have 3 announcements from Nothing. Hardware, I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look, but there is some considerable news, noteworthy news of Nothing that we'll get into. So if you want to put hashtag gift in the chat. Google figured out a way to upgrade. Yeah, unfortunately, they're taking the Apple route. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I need to get out more and use it. In fact, I was going to do that here tomorrow during the day. I've been so busy with website stuff, but I owe it to YouTube to upload a video on that. So another one. So it's so much fun to use, and I want to let everybody know how much fun it is. Man, it's awesome. It's the best phone to buy for the money. You're using that right now as your daily? Yeah. No SIM card slot in US. That's the main difference. Power VR GPU in the Pixel 10. Honestly, I'd probably rather have the 9. Yeah, the 9 is better as far as performance goes, and it has a physical SIM card. The Pixel 9, to be quite honest with you, Google's not going to want you to hear this. The Pixel 9 series, a Pixel 9 Pro XL, is a better move than getting a new Pixel 10 Pro XL. It just is. It has a physical SIM card slot. And we already went over all the spec difference. It's essentially the same phone with a physical SIM card slot and more power, more performance. It's a no-brainer, right? Outside the modem thing, I never had any signal or signal issues, carrier service issues on the 9 series. It's just the Pixel 10 series, the modem is slightly better, but none of them get T-Mobile's new 5G network, so it's not that big of a deal. 18 months old. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at Pixel 9 Pro XLs. I think that's a fantastic buy right now. If you want to get a Pixel, if you need a second phone, if you want a phone that you just take pictures on, or a backup phone that you just store in the closet, but you want it to be you don't want some little $200 phone where it's cheap, right? Pixel, if you want to spend a few $100s, the Pixel 9 Pro XL, you can get phenomenal deals right now on those. They're a really, really good buy. All right, let's see here. Let me set this up and we'll get out of here. Yeah, I don't know if you saw Daniel real quick before we do this. Just to recap, Google put out, this was about 3 months ago. Google said that to run Google Intelligence, Google Gemini Nano version 3 and higher, their latest model, moving forward, you have to have a flagship phone from 2026 with a flagship chip, at least 12 gigabytes of RAM, and support for media features like HDR and spatial audio. So that eliminates an enormous amount, millions, if not billions of phones. I would say hundreds of millions of phones that are fully capable of running AI on their phone. And again, this is not necessarily on-device AI because it's still using network connectivity to gather responses, to gather information. So this is not like it's all on device and, oh, I understand because it's storing a massive amount of data. If it was that route, I get it, but this is not. This is using carrier network services or Wi-Fi data, what have you, to do all help with the thinking, right? So why do you have to have a flagship chip? Why do you have to have a flagship phone from 2026 or newer? Why do you have to have 12 gigs of RAM? I kind of get that, but still, that eliminates the Pixel A series right off the bat. That eliminates the base Pixel 11 series. Their flagship phone, coming out in a few months, is only going to have 8 gigabytes of RAM. So you're just telling me that your flagship phone is just not going to, is not suitable for running your latest model? Are you freaking kidding me? It just doesn't make sense. The more you think about it, you're like, well, something fishy going on here. So that's what's kind of vented for the last 30 minutes. But I just blew my mind today. I was like, wait, what? The more I started digging into it, the more I just didn't understand what they're doing. And the only conclusion I can come up with is that they're doing this, I hate to say it, but they're kind of going the Apple route where they're forcing people to upgrade their phones, which is not right. People should buy and use whatever they want. They shouldn't be forced to, and again, these are not cheap. I mean, a flagship phone, we're talking in the $1,000 range. Well, that's what I don't understand. So you're just eliminating the Nothing Phone 4a Pro right off of the bat? Like, what are we doing here? Whatever. So I'm going to get worked up again. Let's see. Let's see. Everybody. Hashtag gift. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep me one. I think I'm going to go out and grab me one. That's the best Pixel, in my opinion, they've ever released. Now, mine, if you go, I know some of y'all are gonna be like, well, wait a second. I thought you had issues with yours. I did, but I was on beta and I was using it as my primary phone, my main daily driver, and I had tons of shit on there. I was too lazy to roll it back into stable or reset up the phone. I had too much stuff on there, right? I'm doing stuff on there every day. So when I sold it, I rolled it back to stable and I got to the home screen, started using it for half a day before I sold it. And I was like, damn, this thing's super fast, smooth, snappy. The beta program, when I enrolled that Pixel 9 Pro XL, it jacked up the phone. If you're on stable, it's a fantastic phone. In fact, again, it's probably my favorite Pixel that they've ever released. It's just a classic phone. It's like a OnePlus 15, or it's just a classic phone that I think is their peak device to this point. Well, you could say the OnePlus 13 is peak OnePlus 13, or the Samsung S25 Ultra, what am I saying? S25 Ultra, S24 Ultra, potentially S23 Ultra was peak Galaxy device. So you could find one of those devices for every manufacturer where they were just at their best. Are y'all ready? All right, I gotta get out of here. Let's go. Oh, Crisis SF3TR. Congratulations to you. You are the lucky winner today on the eSIM Studios YouTube channel. Congratulations. Do me a favor. Email me esimstudios@gmail.com, esimstudios@gmail.com. I'll get your Cash App or your Amazon gift card right over to you this afternoon. And do appreciate you for viewing the channel, and I appreciate everybody's viewership, and I'll try to get the membership thing going tomorrow. Sorry for wasting a minute or two of everybody's time to figure it out. I'll get it squared away. I'm going to gift memberships to essentially everybody and get the membership rolling. We'll have members only live streams, and you can come up and join me on the panel if you want to talk technology, all that good stuff. So I got some stuff planned for the channel, some fun stuff, and we're going to do members only giveaways, all that good stuff. So anyways, that's for another. I'll try and get that started tomorrow. But anyways, guys, I got to roll. I do appreciate the time. And yeah, if you could email me, esimstudios@gmail.com. I also have all my contact info down in the description box below. Do appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Please have a safe but enjoyable evening. And I will see everyone tomorrow. Peace. Yes, thank you. Please like and subscribe. How can I forget that? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.